to end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on
This is
Sunday.
about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Here we are. I don't know if we're in the One More and I'm Out of Here studios, the Illegal Shift studios, or the Last Call studios, or the Fox News studios. But we decided that.
Well, I like to think I know where I am.
Well, I know exactly where I'm sitting. But we felt the need to. Deadleg and myself, we talked and we're like, hey, we need to get ahead of this the California wildfire shit. And so we decided we're going. We're doing it. Here we are. We didn't know what intro to do, so we're flying by the seat of our pants. Deadleg, how are you, sir?
We had practice. We've done this, I would say, once before, but we've done this once before with a catastrophic fire, and the government just fumbles the football on the old response. And who would have thunk it? That you'd need water to put fires out, but we're here. Yep. So, Mr. Dan, how are you doing this evening?
Well, I think you're right about the government fumbling the football, but I think it's actually a lot worse than that.
I can't even see your face.
You can't see my face.
Can't even see your face.
Well, my face is not what you want to see, but
that's better.
I really think it's a lot worse than fumbling the football. I just think it's a whole. Yeah, it's a whole list of things when you look at the wrong priorities. Every time these people have a chance to speak, they want to talk about diversity, they want to talk about equity, they want to talk about inclusion, they want to talk about social justice, and somehow, and I don't know how the fire departments in Los Angeles and the surrounding areas can somehow make that all better if they just do the right thing. Hey, what complete bullshit. And now you have people that are paying the price. The price, what's the price of that? What's the latest? 11 dead? 6 I think
actually right now.
Is it 16?
16 dead.
16 dead. 16 dead.
TV's on over here.
People who have lost their homes. That's the price that you pay for social justice. Yes. And really, it doesn't matter that these people are dead. It doesn't matter that hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands have lost their homes. No, as long as we have equity and social justice and kumbaya and all that bullshit. I mean, isn't that really what matters? Because in so many ways, these people have failed to live up to what is expected of them. And I'm talking about people who pulled down big salaries, major money. I mean, do you know, Jason, that the head of Los Angeles, it's called LAWP, Los Angeles Water and Power.
Hold on, before we get in there. Hold on, before you go down that. I know where you're going.
All right.
We want to introduce our buddy James McGee from the James McGee Show, who has been fantastic to the One More and I'm Out of Here guys, and also has invited us onto his show. James, welcome.
Man, I'm stoked to be back. It's awesome. Back with, last time I was on, Deadleg was on, and good to see you, Dad. And Dan, I watch you every week, and good to be here with you.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
I am fucking pissed about these fires, and I can't wait to tee off on these motherfuckers because it's fucking ridiculous. And look, I don't know, and I don't know if we're going to know if it was done by lightning or not. But fires are, I live in Hurricane Valley, for those who don't know. I live in Southwest Louisiana. We've been in the eye of several hurricanes. That's a natural disaster. These fires can be fucking prevented or at least mitigated, and they're doing neither. They're doing neither. And that's where, you get these politicians who run for office, and some of them have more degrees than a fucking thermometer. It doesn't matter. Unless you can crisis lead, unless you can crisis manage, you have no business in any kind of fucking power in government at all. Crisis leadership and management is number one. I don't give a fuck about anything else. And they're failing. Democrats fail continuously. Let's look at the senator in Los Angeles, Shifty Schiff. Who is the fucking congressman woman in Los Angeles? Speaking of DEI, Maxine Waters. Since 1991. So that's the fucking problem. I figure I'd come out the gate just fucking pissed.
I love it. All right, continue.
Well, no. He's 100% right.
Oh,
and
shit,
the thing is, the more information that comes out about this, the worse it looks. I mean, we were talking that last night. The word came out about the reservoir that's in there in Pacific Palisades. And they've got a big, giant reservoir there that does what Jason, what does the reservoir do? It holds water. You put water in there. But the reservoir was down for maintenance. And we were talking about this earlier today, that if you're someone who is in charge, if these are the kind of issues that you are supposed to deal with day in and day out. This is what you get up on a Monday morning and say, oh my God, the reservoir is going to be down. How are we going to mitigate that? How are we going to find a workaround for that? What are we going to do for the next 6 or 5 or 6 months, whatever it is? How are we going to find out if we have enough water in order to put out fires? I mean, these are the kind of basic level things that need to happen. But instead, these people in Los Angeles and these people in so many positions of government get up every day and say, well, what are we going to do for social justice? What are we going to do for DEI? What are we going to do to fulfill our quota for the woke agenda for today? I mean, for God's sake, the city of Los Angeles spent, and I don't know what the number is, but they spent like $150,000 or $200,000 on what's called the transgender cafe.
Oh,
and they did that. They had this thing called the Midnight Stroll,
I don't know if you can see James.
No, they spent money on stuff, like where okay, you're gay, you're queer, you walk down the street, and you can go to the transgender cafe. This is the kind of money, and they were glad to spend $100,000 or $200,000. And look, it is look, $100,000 or $200,000 for the city of Los Angeles is not a lot of money. But the thing is that they spent this kind of money, and they do this on a regular basis. It just shows you that their priorities are in the wrong place. I talked to a guy last night who is a buddy of ours, Jason and I, and he was the fire chief of Cincinnati. He got fired because essentially he was not living up to the policies that were the policies that were favored by the city manager of the city of Cincinnati. So he got fired, but his legal process is going on right now, and this has been a process for over 2 years.
It's essentially in federal court.
In the end, he's gonna wind up getting a giant 7-figure settlement from the city of Cincinnati because they screwed him over the long. But the point, my point is that I was talking to him last night, and I said, I want to hear your thoughts on what's going on in Los Angeles. Because you and I have talked many times about what your job is leading the fire department. And he said, and I said, you told me time and time again, your number one priority is what? Put the fire out. Put the fire out. And he said, as fire chief, he said, my number one priority was the safety of the firefighters and put the fire out. Safety, put the fire out. But
very easy.
That's not what these people have been pushing as their number one priorities. And it doesn't matter if it's the fire chief. I mean, what's the gal's name? I don't have her name in front of me.
Christian Crowley.
Well, that's the fire chief. And he knows her personally. And he was there. He was there in 19, I think he told me 1996. He was there and he saw this coming. He knew it was going to happen.
But she was nowhere around.
Well, but she was working her way up the ladder at that time.
Right.
So he knew that when she got in charge that that there was going to be hell to pay, and they're paying hell right as we speak. And Gavin Newsom, who is the governor of California,
What a fucking
is talking about, he's talking so the other day he called out Donald Trump and he said, I want Donald Trump to come to California. And he's acting as if, if Donald Trump comes to California, then he's going to see the devastation. He's going to see how these people's lives have been affected, all this. Well, you know what? Donald Trump was there in 2018 when they had a giant wildfire.
We actually we shared that video on our last podcast.
That killed people, that left people homeless and all the rest of it. And Donald Trump stood there next to Gavin Newsom, as close as Jason is to me right now. And he said, look, you've got to do A, B, C, and D. These are the things you have to do to prevent these forest fires, to prevent these wildfires. And what has Gavin Newsom done since then? He hasn't done shit. He hasn't done anything. But he's like, hey, Joe Biden's my guy. Joe Biden's bailing me out. I'm fucked up these last 4, 5, 6 years. I haven't done shit. But Joe Biden's my buddy. I'm gonna get a bailout.
So it's funny.
Yeah.
So it's funny, and I know Deadleg's going to jump in here shortly, but it is funny to see the one video that I saw where this lady comes up with a mask over her face.
Oh my God!
Smoke, and she was like, Governor. This is my home. These are my people. Whatever. And he was like, I'm getting ready to call the president. And she was like, well, can I sit here and can I be a part of it? Like, will you call him while I'm here? And you could tell, like, just the most awkward. He's trying to get into the car because he was like, I need you to get the fuck out of my way. I want to sit in the car. But it's and he shows her the phone, and I couldn't see what the fucking phone said. But was he really going to do it? I don't know. I mean, potentially. I'm not going to say he's not. But Deadleg, you and I, we covered the Maui fires, in our down the pole inaugural days when we started this, and you look at the response that Maui got. You're looking at the response that California's getting, and now let's roll it back to what's North Carolina getting.
Exactly. Same thing that happened in Maui, though, which you look at California. Where's the leadership when this happened? Why is the mayor of California in Africa? I'm so glad that helped out the taxpayers of the city of Los Angeles with whatever she's doing in Africa. It couldn't have anything to do with what Biden was doing over there in Africa. He was over there a couple months ago. I don't know. Had nothing to do with that. We're definitely for sure not sending millions and millions of our American tax dollars to other countries to get funneled back in. We're definitely not money laundering. That's not
That's not happening at all. None of that.
But
how dare you?
This is elementary school. But here's the other problem about this is we know that this is going to happen. We keep telling them, hey, spend your firefighting budget on stuff for firefighters. Spend
Yeah.
your police budget on stuff for police. Spend your hospital budget on stuff for the hospital. Don't waste all of this stuff that has nothing to do with this, because that's all great until your city's burning to the ground. Then you're going to have people like us going and just questioning, okay, that's great. That $17 million you diverted, could you use some of that now? That equipment that you sent to Ukraine, could you use some of that now? The money that you spent for your gay men's choir, how many people are singing the chorus for this fire?
No shit.
Are they
That's
going to come out with a remembrance song to go on tour to get money to put in little boots to maybe be able to park back when this is all said and done? I want to say, like, some silver lining in this is a lot of the people that have been voting into these policies are a lot of the people that have all this money, and that's where all this money is at. All these places are burned up. Well, now you're going to have to go through the same thing that the people of Maui are going through. Guess what? $750 for them. You want to go to North Carolina? $700 for them. And then they're being told that they can't rebuild because their houses was in a flood zone. Well, their house wasn't in a flood zone until it flooded. Well, your house wasn't in a fire zone until it burnt down. You have insurance companies canceling policies and premiums before. The writing's on the wall, people. It's not 2 + 2 is not donkey. 2 + 2 is 4.
You're absolutely correct.
Well, and the reason the insurance companies had to cancel those policies is because the insurance companies saw this coming. The insurance companies said, "Look, you guys are not doing the things that it takes to mitigate this risk, and the risk is too high." And the insurance companies knew it, but instead of the government in California saying that, okay, you're telling us that we've got an issue here. What do we do? How do we work with you to make sure that these people can have insurance? And looking at the issue and figuring out what the issue is and dealing with it. Now, they didn't do that. No, what they did was say that if you're an insurance company, we're not going to allow you to raise your rates. No, you want to charge our people more money because of the higher. And look, the insurance companies have people who do this all day, every day. They have people that look at the risk and they look at what's going on and they say, what's this risk? And so the insurance companies are saying, yeah, look, this is too dangerous for us. If a fire breaks out here, then we're going to lose our ass. And instead of the government working with them to figure out how to cut this down, no, the government says, well, you can't raise your rates. We're going to pass legislation. We're going to have a law in California that says, no, you can't raise your rates. So the insurance company, the only choice they have is to bail out. So they get out. And they tell these homeowners, we can't insure you for fire.
I thought you were going to say homos.
No, homeowners. And that's what happened. So the government and and again, I've said this many times, that the people who live there are the ones who voted for the ones who are in charge.
You reap what you sow.
And there's a lot of people that did not vote for the people that are in charge, but the people who are in charge, there's so many of these people who had lost their homes. And I feel terrible for them. But at the same time, they voted in the people who are making these kinds of decisions. They're making the kinds of decisions that tells the insurance agency in California that you can't raise your rates. We're not going to work with you to figure out what we can do to take steps to make sure so you can keep insuring these people. So there's no cooperation there.
So
I can explain this insurance because I literally just went through this with my insurance like 2 weeks ago because I thought, wow, this is kind of cool. So we bought a house at the end of last year, and then my insurance company had to do the appraisal, the housing process of the buying process. But when it's all said and done, then my insurance company sent an appraiser out. And the insurance company wanted to look at things like, do I have fire suppression? Do I have sprinklers? Do I have home security? Where's my neighborhood at? So they sent somebody out. Well, when it was all said and done, there was like almost $75,000 in extra value of my home that I was looking at. And it's not that there's $75,000 of extra value in home. It's going to cost $75,000 more to build the same home than it would be last year. And it's because this table, it costs $10 this year, or last year. Well, this year it's going to cost $50. So that's $40 more to build the same table that it did last year. And that's because of this inflation. So all of these things that we've been talking about, not just on One More and on Fox and all the other shows, these things are going to compound them. So if you think this is just a California issue, it's not. Your insurance companies everywhere, they're looking at risk. So what California, the insurance company said, hey, if we're going to do this, but the risk here is so much that if we're going to insure it, the rate is going to be, this is what the rate is. And then California comes in and steps in and go, oh, we're going to be good for our citizens and say, well, you can't raise your rates. We're going to cap your rates at this is what your rates are at. Well, then the insurance company says, well, our hands are tied. You're going to tell me that I have to insure these people, but I can't charge them what it's going to cost to actually fill the house up to rebuild it. But I'm going to be out on the back end of it. State Farm's not going to be back on the back end of it. Allstate's not going to be on the back end of it. Geico's not on the back end of it.
That's
so
it. Yeah, they know it's a losing proposition, so they're getting the hell out.
So James, let me ask you: you being a Louisianan, you've obviously dealt with a ton of bullshit with Katrina and being in control of certain aspects while you were working, but then also just physically just dealing with it. Like, where's your head at with the insurance part?
So we fight that with the insurance, but again, we're hurricanes, and now there's things that you can do to mitigate damage in hurricanes. We've had insurance carriers that just got out of Louisiana, but I think that y'all are on the right track. Fires are just different, and that's where they keep going back to this natural disaster. You know, everybody jumps on Trump. And people think I'm a big Trump jock rider, and I support him. I think he's president, but I'm not a jock rider of Trump. But the motherfucker is smart. If they would have done the things that he said, now me since my retirement, something that I've done is I'm in the debris management and the land clearing business, and Trump's right. If they would start cleaning up these forests, if they would start doing forestry mulching in these areas, then it would be, Jason, you're a fireman. If these trees, that's not the big problem. Everybody's a tree hugger. And well, it's not the trees are the problem. It's the underbrush. It's the dead trees. It's the fallen debris. If they would fucking clean them up, like Trump said, if they would clean that stuff up, then there would be, you would mitigate it. You're not going to prevent it. You're going to have, California's got wind and it's dry. You're going to have these fires. So why aren't they mitigated? Because Dan, you're right. They're too fucking worried about other stuff that doesn't fucking matter. Number one is crisis leadership. And, Jason, I was the incident commander of some hurricanes. Let me tell you what I failed. I failed during Hurricane Laura. And you know what I did 2 weeks in? I got up in front of a group of people and said, hey guys, I'm failing. I need some help. And we called an audible, and that's what they won't fucking do.
Boom.
Let me get on this real quick. Fucking fire chief. Fire chief.
My God.
I'm not a fan of the mayor.
And we got something to go along with it, but go ahead.
Good. I'm not a fan of the mayor. The next trip I think the mayor needs to take is to the Golden Gate Bridge and jump off and get out of everybody's fucking hair. That's the next trip she needs to take. But
that's a different city, but I get your point.
But I'll tell you right now, if I'm her, fire chief's gone today. Fucking gone. Not because she got up there and criticized me. Because she showed what kind of leader. She's not a leader. She didn't take any responsibility. She took zero ownership to this incident. She should have got up there and said, we had some failures. We are fixing it, and we're going to move forward. Instead, she gets up there and says, we didn't have any water. You're going to tell me that now I know that she's not responsible for the water supply. But the fire department, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, has some responsibility to make sure there's fucking water in the hydrant, right?
Absolutely.
They should be in direct communication.
Those people in Los Angeles Water and Power, they make a hell of a lot of money.
Hey, can the fireman talk for a second?
I know. You know,
how about you shut the
he's
fuck
dead
up?
on.
How about you shut the fuck up, media guy?
I'm just saying, he's right.
And of course, you can't stop.
That's something I never hear, Dan. Thank you.
But no. I mean, to your point, yes, they should be in communication. Fire chief or their delegate, whoever.
Yeah.
Hey, where are we at? Where are we at on the reservoirs? Where are we at on pressures? Do we need to activate pumps? You know, to push, because we do that here in Cincinnati
all day, every day.
Now, to her defense, a little bit, I don't know. Maybe every week she goes to the city council meeting and says, "Hey, we don't have water." Next week, "Hey, we don't have water." I don't know if she's doing that. Now, she seems like a nice guy, but I don't know. but I'm gonna tell you right now, she's fucking incompetent. She might be a nice dude, but she's fucking incompetent.
She might be a nice dude. James, that's why I love you, my man.
Oh my God.
Hey, Jason, when you retire, I can't wait till you retire. Then you get to be like me and say what the fuck you want.
Oh, absolutely. 4 years, my man. She seems like a nice guy.
I was watching one of the interviews. I've seen that because right now what they're doing too is everyone's trying to deflect the blame game. Everyone's trying to go, I'm not responsibility.
That's exactly what they're doing, man. Exactly.
6 weeks ago,
Gavin Newsom has done it, and the fire chief of Los Angeles has done it. I've seen both of those throw other people under the bus, saying like, it's not my fault. Gavin Newsom's like, well, these local people got to handle the water pressure issues. These local people got to deal with the fire hydrants that don't have any water. And then the gal who's the chief of the fire department, I saw her yesterday,
Kristen Crowley,
nice
and she was saying that she has talked to city council about what the fire department needs, and the city council has not given her what the fire department needs. I mean, what bullshit! She is no.
Hey,
I am not letting her off the hook, because this gal has said on multiple interviews where her top priority is diversity, equity, and inclusion.
So Deadleg,
that's it.
I'm gonna share this screen.
Alrighty.
As we
while you're getting it ready, here's where I start to have a problem with her doing so many interviews. Your department's not ginormous, Keith, but do you guys have a public information officer, like a point person that's who the media talks to?
No, fire chief.
But in a larger fire department, do you think Cincinnati Fire has a PIO?
Yes.
Cincinnati does.
They
yeah.
absolutely do.
Absolutely.
Or LAFD. LAFD is employing people as PIOs.
LAFD probably has an entire department that deals with the media, not just one person.
So the chief
in
should
Cincinnati,
be going, hey,
it's one or two people that deals with the media, and in LA and Los Angeles is probably, I would imagine, it's probably multiple people.
Yeah.
Because at this point, the chief needs to be going, hey, guys, I need to be focusing on figuring out what's going on. There's some leaderships that dropped the ball. I got a public information officer that'll give you information. They got a briefing. We'll do every day at noon. We'll update you. Go speak to them. I have firefighting job. I have a firefighting leadership job. I have firefighting leadership, management, incident, people's lives. I have that to do. That's what I need to be doing.
You're absolutely correct. It's
because
you direct them. You go talk to these people. I'm going to go do my work and try to lead people. So with that,
every time she comes on there, it seems to me that she's trying to just make sure she doesn't get fired another week.
You fucking kill. You killed
That's
it right there.
I'm trying to make sure that I can come back up here tomorrow and be the one to spew the information out to you.
Yeah.
That's an excellent take.
It was funny while you're getting that ready. We were talking about the Newsom fake phone call stuff. Here's whether it was weird. I know it was a bullshit phone call because the actual phone call, they recorded it. They made sure everybody seen it. They had the subtitles. They had the big screen TV with the panels, just like we got up. And then over here, they got the big screens with the panels, and everybody's along the big desk. And you want to know what one of the biggest things that came out of that meeting that Gavin Newsom asked for the Joseph Biden? While the state's literally burning down, he wants to make sure that misinformation is taken care of.
Exactly.
Because it's misinformation that the fire department telling the people
Get the fuck out.
there that the fire hydrant that they hooked up to is spewing air. They're not getting anything out of it. So that's misinformation, apparently. And the reservoir being empty, like finding out that the reservoir was empty in an interview as the governor, that's got to be an embarrassing. It's got to be. How are you doing these interviews at this point?
Yeah, and the reservoir, I learned a little bit more because I talked to Eric the other day, and he started killing me with it. You're the fireman, all right? So what's happened? I'm like, holy shit, I don't know. I got to look into it, but I know California is way different than Ohio, so I know how our water system works. But I told him, I said, reservoirs are a redundancy. Come to find out today, like as I was reading an article, that the one reservoir was under repair.
The reservoir in Pacific Palisades,
Yes,
where these fires started,
was under repair.
Yeah,
and had been under repair for the last 11 months. Was supposed to be back online next month. Weird. Okay, funny. Santa Ana winds usually come in around this time. How do we not figure it out? I don't know.
Who would have thought? No, that if it's going to be down, would you not make sure that you've got other things to step up in its place?
absolutely.
You figure something else
That's
out.
what we're studying,
Right.
and that's what we were talking about earlier today.
Here, let me play this video though, just before we go into the reservoir shit. The whole fucking DEI shit. This makes me
I'm gonna get
absolutely.
another drink on this one.
This makes me fucking sick, but it's hilarious as well.
Here we go.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
You fucking asshat clown. Fuck you.
She's a big
Fuck
guy.
you. she's got a set of balls on her.
Every firefighter across the United States ought to be absolutely railing against those words that came out of her mouth.
I don't know how you say that. Well, if I'm getting your husband, he shouldn't have been in that place.
Do
Really?
firefighters
But
want to
Where
track
are we
that?
supposed to sit in our house? I mean, I'm in the basement. I'm in the basement of Jason's house right now. Am I not supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be upstairs? Am I supposed to be over there in the other room that's to my left? Am I supposed to be
Well, here's
in the bedroom over there, to upstairs and to the right? I mean, come on. What about my house? Am I supposed to be on the first floor, the second floor, in the basement? I mean, for God's sake.
It's fucking ridiculous.
And then she says it
Well,
like,
you know what?
like she's so confident and she's so self-assured that, oh, well, he got himself in a position where
She's actually got a deeper voice than you do.
I know.
But here's the problem with
Yeah, I am
Let me tell you, because
outraged
look,
by that. She should be
We're
fired.
live right now, Dan.
This
Okay,
gal
Dan,
pulls
we're
out
live.
almost $400,000 a year doing this.
Yeah. So we're live right now, Dan, and I'm going to say some dumb shit. You're saying dumb shit. We're all saying dumb shit, all right? We can't take it back. But this was planned. This was a fucking recruiting video that had to go through how many hands and how many edits, and that's what they picked. Of all the shit they could have done for a fucking recruiting video, they chose that fucking circus clown with that statement. That tells me everything about the leadership of that fucking city.
That's right, because this video has not just been around for like 4 or 5 months. It's been around for like 3 or 4 years.
No.
Yeah,
this was their hook line, man. This was their hook line. That's your hook line to be a fireman? Is that you shouldn't be in the fucking fire? What the fuck?
He got himself in. He's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Anybody that's stuck in a fire, are they in the right place?
Yeah. If Jason's house is on fire right now, Dan, it's your fucking fault.
Shame on you for being trapped in that traffic accident. Shame on you for being trapped in that traffic accident. It's just, you should not have been just hit by that drunk driver and then your car caught fire and you burned alive. You need to think better about your actions. Listen, dude, I don't see that. I don't see her running. I don't see her running triathlons. I don't.
Well, she's only carrying you about 10 yards. But she's just out of her head.
But you know what? I'm not running triathlons either. So I'm not going to go on a recruiting video and tell people
you have a different reason. You have a different reason why you can't. She's running for the fucking.
How many chin-ups did she do this morning?
She's going to.
The answer is like 0. Fucking bitch.
Yeah. She could load you up and carry you out about 10 yards.
Fuck that fucking look.
When they said,
I don't care. I don't care if you're a lesbian. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're black, white, brown. I don't care. I don't care. But for her to talk about, when we go on a run and someone's hurt, it's a great comfort to them to see someone who's the same color as them coming to take care of them. And then she drops this. 2 or 3 years ago, whenever she made this video, talking about, your husband, I got to carry your husband out of the house. He's in the wrong spot. He's in the wrong spot. I mean, it is the prime example of what it is we've been talking about for the last 2, 3, 4 years now.
Yeah.
And we've been railing against this kind of stuff. When you talk about, the whole idea of meritocracy, that you get the best people in there who can do the job, and water seeks its own level. You get people in there who can do the job. It doesn't matter if they're white, black, brown. It doesn't matter.
So dead leg, I'm going to share this too.
This kind of stuff should not make a difference. What color your skin is?
No.
What your sexuality is?
It doesn't matter.
I mean,
I work in a predominantly
what
black
group you belong to.
I work in a predominantly African American, demographic. They don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck. And a white guy's coming to help them. I'm coming to help them, right? So it doesn't matter.
That video, you know what that video is pretty. You can take that video, and it sums up. Just that video sums up what is wrong with Democrat leadership. Right there. That shows you exactly why Democrat leadership, cities that are led by Democrats, fail during crisis. That video tells you everything.
No, you're absolutely correct.
It's all fine and good when there's nothing going on, but when the shit hits the fan, that doesn't get the job done.
Real leadership starts, Dan, when you get punched in the fucking face.
That's a fact.
Anybody can fucking lead during good times. It's when you get punched in the fucking face. How are you going to react? And they showed how they're going to react.
So I'm sharing this. LA's $750,000 a year water chief, who allegedly oversaw the emptying of the Santa Ynez reservoir, previously said the number one thing she cared about in her role was equity.
Yeah.
So I learned a little bit about why this reservoir was done. It wasn't working. And it was under repair.
The Pacific Palisades.
But it was under repair. So I'm like, all right, cool. All right, I get that. Because when Eric called me the other day, he was like, I need to know what you know about the reservoirs. I'm like, well, shit, it's fucking LA. I have no idea. Like, I have to learn how they work their water system. But it was interesting because that thing went under repair a year ago. Was supposed to be back online in February. Ironically, here we are in January. But it's
February 2024 or February 2025?
It's next month. It was supposed to be back online next month. Because they have a floating floating cover on it, and it had like a couple foot tear in it, so they didn't want like bird droppings, debris, whatever, because I mean it's still drinking water and everything else, so they drained the whole thing to be able to get the cover repaired. To me, that's confusing. I don't understand it. I don't live there. I have no idea. Dead Lake lives in Colorado.
We have a reservoir.
But the thing is, if you've got a major water source down like that, then you plan for mitigation. You plan for
Thank you.
You plan for what if we need this and we don't have it? How do we work around that? How do we make sure that if something happens and we need that,
you have to be ready.
We can draw from other sources.
Here's one of
that didn't happen.
It's not just that it's a reservoir, because everyone keeps saying, like, they'll show the picture of California on fire and then right beside it's the ocean. That's true, but you have to be able to get that water from the ocean to the fire. So you got to be able to bring it there with pumps, and those pumps to be able to keep the pressure into those systems. I don't know that. I don't know that much about fluid dynamics and all of that stuff, but
that would be big.
The cost, the amount of money that you would have to keep the pressure up in the hydrants versus putting it very, very high and just let gravity do the work. That's why in a lot of towns, that's why you have water towers, because it's easier and it's less money to pump it up to that one source and let gravity pump it out to the rest of everybody else there. So but you have backup.
And with what they're going through, and I get it, and it sucks, but they had so many draws. Like they had draws this way and this way. I'm trying to get my camera right. This way and this way. Water had to go up, water had to go down, and they were drawing from everything that they had. Now, up on the hills, those tanks couldn't get refilled fast enough. I understand that. Like I get it. But you would think those reservoirs, you would have had at least something else in place when you had that one down. You'd have had something else. I don't know what it was. Whether it's two more pumps, pushing up to two more tanks. I don't know. But that's up in the hills. That's where the big issue is because they couldn't get water up there. So you got firemen going, and I watched one. I can't remember who it was. One of the Fox, I think it was a Fox reporter. He goes, "How much pressure are you getting coming into your truck?" And he was like, "We want 50 or more." He was literally getting like 10. So I don't know what the right answer is. I don't think there is a right answer. I think they probably could have done a little bit better. You drain that reservoir and get some shit in line behind it. But nobody ever expected a fucking fire like this, though.
And then one of the other questions that I would say that I had, but just scrolling through TikTok before it goes away, that people were the planes and the helicopters that are coming in, they're not necessarily fighting the fire. They're fighting ahead of the fire to try to contain it. Is that correct? They're not necessarily fighting the fire. They're just trying more containment.
Yeah. So yeah. And the way I understand it, and I had a buddy of mine that was a smoke jumper, but Yeah, they'll hit like the head. They'll hit the head, but then drop the rest of the water in front of it. So that way it's saturating everything.
Yeah.
But they'll at least try to put some of the fire out, but then they try to go ahead of it.
Yeah, the video that I've seen shows all these aircraft, and thank God these pilots and these aircraft are available to bring their resources to bear on this. But what they're doing is they're dropping this flame retardant on the trees and on the vegetation and whatever is there. They're dropping it all around the leading edges of these fires to prevent that fire from. Hopefully, this flame retardant will do what it's supposed to do.
I don't even
prevent
know
that fire from going further.
I don't even know what the retardant is. I mean, obviously we've all seen it.
It's orange.
I don't know exactly what it is.
I've seen that,
but
the retardant's a chief.
I mean, I saw an L-1011 dropping that flame retardant today. It was a lot of shit.
I had to say it, Jason. I'm sorry,
dude. I love it. I love it. You ain't wrong. All right. So yeah, let's jump on that for a second. That fucking
water,
bear.
Oh
water,
my God!
ammonium
Fucking
sulfate, fertilizer, potassium silicate, mineral salt to reduce the combustibility of fuels.
See, that's the fact
There you
checker.
go.
That's a fact checker extraordinaire right there.
Bromine, chlorine, phosphorus, nitrogen, metal, and boron.
The Fox News fact checker killed it.
Thank you.
So Jason, talking about the mayor, I'm not going to say that people in LA and these cities that keep electing these circus clowns deserve it. They don't. But the guy that ran against her is a billionaire real estate investor who spent $100 million of his own money. She still beat him. He ran as a Democrat, but he was a Republican for years. He was just changed to Democrat for the race. This guy's accomplished. This guy ran businesses. You know what she was? A physician's assistant, which is a reputable career.
Sure.
And a community organizer. And she's a state rep for a minute. She was not qualified to run a fucking city. She never ran a business. She never done these things. She was DEI, and she's 70 fucking years old.
Karen Bass. She's a friend of Obama's.
Exactly. I don't think she's qualified to run a goddamn household.
Yeah.
Let alone a city.
Well, you know where I think she needs to run? Golden Gate Bridge. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking just terrible. She wouldn't even answer the questions. I know y'all saw the video where this reporter was, and look, it was direct questions, it was hard questions, but it was legitimate.
That reporter that did that.
She was at the airport.
What do
you think of that reporter? I think he did a good job.
Oh, that guy's awesome from Sky News. I forget his name.
I like him, man. I thought he was respectful, but it was.
I sent Jason that video the other day. We did it on our podcast. One more, and I'm out of here. And I mean, he was, but if you look at the way she could hear the questions that this guy was asking her, and she simply refused to answer.
Got it.
You got it?
She went to Kamala.
This is the long video of this, and Jason found it on his email. Thank God. But
thank goodness. Thank goodness I saved some shit.
Yeah, I mean,
for anybody that didn't see our
Los
episode,
Angeles is the second biggest city in the country, and if you're the mayor of that city, you should be able to answer questions.
For everybody that didn't see our episode of One More and I'm Out of Here, this is well worth it. This fucking clown.
Fire chiefs say that they're really stretched to the limit and running out of water. What have you got to say to that? Have you no response to that? Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars down there?
17.6, by the way.
Have you nothing to say today?
Of course, I'm going to be a little bullshit.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today?
That car cannot pull up
Elon
fast
Musk
enough.
says that you're utterly
Right.
incompetent. Are you considering your position?
Those are the eyes of my driver is getting fired right
Madam
after
Mayor,
this
have you
public
nothing
is
to
getting
say
fired.
to
Yeah,
the
you're
citizens
exactly
today
right,
who are
man. You're
dealing with this
exactly right on that
disaster?
I'm going to send a fiery tweet off after this.
I mean, look at her.
Apology for them.
No, I got no answers. We got nothing.
Do you think you should
Her
have
hair
been
says it
visiting
all. Does she
Ghana?
even
when
have-
there
He's
was
like,
a
let
load
me
of
out of here.
successful-
Let me out.
There's somebody in LA that could get a weave or something on her head. She's pathetic.
This is the mayor. This is shit has hit the fan, and that's who is in charge. And instead of answering questions, she just ignores
She
it.
runs.
Doesn't say a
She
fucking
runs.
word. Doesn't
Dad,
say
you
a
know
word.
the problem, Dad?
She's got no
She'll
answers.
get fucking reelected is the fucking problem, Dad. She'll get reelected.
And the thing is, she just came off I don't know what the flight is to Ghana from LA. Ghana, fucking West fucking Africa is where she was.
Yeah.
So what is it, 11, 12, 14, whatever the flight is.
Oh, yeah.
But she couldn't, all the way from there
I thought Cincy 513
to LA
would have been her publicist.
She couldn't come up with a single response that she was going to say to media had media confronted her at the airport. And that's what this guy from Sky News, I forget his name, but Billy Blevins or something like that. Guy's awesome.
Yeah.
That guy,
Yeah, Blevins.
guy that asked those questions was dead on it.
And he just kept going, like just asking.
Yeah. Have you nothing to say to the people of Los Angeles?
Can you say
Do you
something?
regret cutting millions of dollars from the budget? Which is true. You know, I mean, it's
$17.6 million.
and I'm not sure. Look, she cut money from the budget, and I'm not sure that would have made a difference in what we're seeing.
It wouldn't have fixed.
TV
It wouldn't have
screens.
fixed. It wouldn't have fixed. Like it wouldn't have stopped.
I mean,
anything
17
that's
or
happened.
$18 million from the LAPD, Los Angeles Fire Department budget.
That's a lot of money, though.
It's a lot of money, but their
Yeah.
budget is like 800 million or
Sure.
800, 900 million. I mean, it's a lot.
How many fire hydrants are currently missing because they've been stolen for scrap? How much money has been
That's
wasted?
an excellent point.
Yes,
That's an
I was
excellent
thinking
point.
about
It's not even that you have fire hydrants that are spitting out air, it's that you don't even have the fire hydrants. So you took the money that you could have spent to put the fire hydrants back to where they're supposed to be, and you got rid of that. And then we're not going to fill up the reservoir where the water would come from. We're not going to have a backup for that.
Excellent point.
Man,
I mean, that's it.
can
I
I,
mean,
shoot
look,
myself with both feet anymore? And then go, why are my feet hurting here?
None of us here is experts in this shit except for this guy right here. But
So
I mean,
here's my
it's
issue.
it's the most basic stuff. Like in New Orleans, yeah. We talked about what happened in New Orleans on New Year's Day or New Year's night. You know, you're going to have thousands of people partying in the streets, and you can't figure out how to protect that street from someone driving down that street, and you can't close that off.
Later.
And this, I mean, that is the very basics, the very lowest level of that kind of police work, to my way of thinking. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but everyone I've talked to
You're right.
has told me
You're
that is closing off a street. People don't get run over. That's a very basic. I mean, if you can't start there and do that, then you really don't have a plan that makes any sense. And so when you're a firefighter, I got a giant reservoir, and it's empty, and I know the Santa Ana winds are coming. I can watch the local news, and they tell me, on Monday or Tuesday, the Santa Ana winds are going to come. It's 100 miles an hour. It's 90, 80, 100 degrees.
Which happens every year.
It happens every year. That's it.
So
And if there's a spark, well, then there's going to be hell to pay, and we're not prepared for that. And I've seen the video. Have you seen the video of the very first fire that started up there in the hills of
It's cool.
I don't know
Dan.
that I have.
Yeah, but
it's okay, Dan. It's okay, Dan. I got you.
I'm
Because
saying-
no matter what happens,
you got to get the fire
federal
department
government
there. Put that fire out. Put the fire out.
we'll
They
come in
did-
with
they
federal
did.
funds and we'll pay for it afterwards. It's okay, Dan. It doesn't matter.
I
We'll
bet the
take
North
your tax
Carolina
dollars.
residents love that.
Yep. So while North Carolina is literally still living in tents, Biden's already said that they'll
Yeah, no
cover
shit.
100% of
Still
the
on the
Exactly where I
ground.
wanted to go. Perfect.
Cold as fuck.
So if you're in California and you literally shoot yourself in the foot and we'll go ahead, climb whatever the hell the start of the fire, you have a wildfire that you can't control. We'll bail you out. It's cool. The rest of the country will bail you out. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Well, that's
So-
what, Gavin,
it
that's
doesn't
what
even-
Gavin
it-
Newsom is all about.
So this
doesn't
is
even
why
matter
I'm
that-
so hard. Go ahead, Dad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say this is. I didn't even vote for Cal. I had nothing to do. I'm not. I have no desire to go back to California. When we were looking at houses, when my wife finished her PhD, California was extremely high up on the list, like 3-4 years ago. And then they had all the COVID stuff, and then everything they're doing now, it's completely off. We don't want to even travel there to go to just visit, let alone live, because of all the policies. Why do I want to put myself in a situation where I think that there's going to be a risk to myself? Why do I want to build my house next to an area that doesn't have fire mitigation? Well, I don't build my house there. So I don't put myself in those situations. So it's sad, but we're all going to pay for it. Your US tax dollars are paying for this.
No
We
shit.
just said that we're going to come back in and we're going to, even though that California is short $17 million from the budget and they sent all this extra resources to Ukraine and their mayor was on a vacation in Ghana and it has nothing to do with LA. Your US tax, federal tax, FEMA is going to come in and pick up from what Biden says, 100% of the bill for California.
Yeah.
The fire's not out yet, but they're going to pay for everything. And North Carolina, and Maui's not even a footnote in this conversation.
Maui's not a footnote. North Carolina's not a footnote. But fucking California, with all the big money that's there, they're throwing everything at it.
Well, let me tell you why
Isn't that amazing?
I'm so hard on the fire chief. Yes, she got cut $17 million. She was real quick to say that. But I'm glad you noted that their budget's around $800 million. You know, I managed a budget of $15 million, and I've been cut before. I got cut $500,000, $1 million when we had budgetary issues. So you're going to tell me, Chief, whatever your fucking name is, you're going to tell me that if I started doing public records requests, that I'm not going to find some friend of yours, some captain, some person that makes $250,000 a year that had $300,000 in overtime, or I don't want to quote it but I'm hearing this. So you're going to tell me there's no waste. So it's your job. You got the budget. You had $817 million. Now you only have $800 million. It's your job to manage that fucking budget. It's your job to resource it. So you resourced it wrong. You're going to tell me I'm not going to find some waste and some training where you spend $500,000 in training that, you know, you were sending high-level people on paid vacations. Hey, I work in government. That happens every fucking day. So it's the fire chief's job to take the budget that she has and prioritize it. And she didn't do it. It's why I'm so hard on her.
I mean, prioritizing, like, Keith, what was the DEI? How much are they paying that person a year to be that person for the LAFD?
Oh, fuck.
So there's $500,000 right there.
You can find $1 million, Dad. I promise.
More money than we'll ever see in our lives.
$350,000 a year.
All right,
Yeah.
so we got
How many
17
more of
million to
those
make
go
up
there,
for,
Dad?
guys. We got 350 million or 350,000 for this person. Let's get rid of that entire department because it's not doing anything to help save people in the city of Los Angeles. All right, so now we got another 17 million, whatever the math is, to figure out the rest of it.
Just math it up.
Just math it up.
Math it up.
I'll
I
have my
think one
science people do
reason,
it.
I had some failures, and I stated some failures I had here, but I had some successes as a leader. I think one reason I did is because I'm not real bright. I was pretty simple. I kept it simple. My job as a patrol commander was safety. Period. When you simplify what your mission is, I think it was Dan, you were talking about it. Simplify what your mission is. Well, real simple is to try to prevent fires. And if you can't prevent them, fight them. Period.
Put the fire out.
Put the fire out. You went outside and you started people interject their own personal agenda and their own personal missions because she's a woman, she's a lesbian. They start throwing their own stuff in there to try to this social justice shit. This is what happens when you start doing that.
How about you put water on it? Stop trying to scissor it. Don't stop scissoring the fire out. Put water on it.
I don't want to.
I had to do it. I had to.
I don't want to belittle the
You
fire
couldn't let me
here.
be the only asshole here.
But to give you guys an idea of what this is, because we had a real bad fire out here a couple of years ago. A fire bad enough that I have fire to go boxes. Like we literally have stuff ready to go just because of how close the fires were. The Palisades fire is 17,200 acres. The Eaton fire is 10,600 acres. Hearst fire is currently 855 acres, and the Sunset fire is at 43 acres. The two fires out here combined were just over 480,000 acres, to include a good chunk of Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah.
So that's Colorado, right, Dad?
Yep. I'm just east of Rocky Mountain National Park. So that fire went out there for almost 6 weeks, for month and a half, 2 months. We had there was like a week and a half. We did not have sunlight. Like it was, our temperature was 25, 30 degrees lower than everybody else in the entire state because the smoke was just so thick. Like these fires are crazy and they'll get out of hand fast.
Yeah.
I want to pull up this map because this is downtown Los Angeles right here. Here, let's make this big.
Also, while you're doing that, at some point we look at the comments and look at Hydro Blue. I think it's
trucks offline, out of service, according to stuff. That's because they don't have enough mechanics to. So Hydroman, we'll put it up here.
I can't.
Yeah. From USA Today, LAFD fleet maintenance has 22 engines and 11 trucks offline or out of service, according to their staff, and it's because they don't have enough mechanics to fix them due to civilian budget cuts.
Budget cuts. Wow. Weird. Isn't that funny?
They're getting help from Mexico. They're getting help from departments all across the country
for every other department.
Yeah,
but not.
But then I see stories about trucks coming in from Washington or Oregon, and then they're saying, "Well, these trucks don't meet our emission standards."
That's fucking insane.
We've got to,
that's true.
So we can't let these trucks, assist.
But also the trucks that are coming in, it doesn't matter if there's no fucking water.
Doesn't matter.
You can't pump air.
No, it matters.
I could throw 30.
How does it not matter?
I could throw 32,000 trucks at it. But if I don't have water to put into those trucks to push out, to put the fire out, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter for shit.
You're right. Yeah, Jason, Dee did a video yesterday and I commented on it. She's talking about how they were turning down firefighters from New York who were, some of the best. And I said, it doesn't fucking matter. I commented on it. I said, they don't need any more firemen. They don't have any fucking water.
All you're gonna do is you're gonna try to smother it with firemen.
Yeah. So, hey, that'd be a publicity deal. Hey, we got 50,000 firemen here standing there holding their dicks because there's no fucking water.
It would be great, and it would make Gavin Newsom look like a fucking complete clown.
Well, he is a clown.
If you had a whole bunch of fucking FDNY dudes fucking standing there going, well, we're trying to help. He won't let us because we don't have.
Let's look at the silver lining here. I think his presidential run is fucking done now.
Well, I hope I hope you're right because in 2 years or 3 years from now, they're going to be talking about Gavin Newsom. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. He
scares me when it comes to politics.
He's a fag.
He's a fag.
Well, I
was telling my mom that the other day. I said he scares me because people are so superficial. He's charismatic. He's a good-looking guy. He can fool some people. You know,
Gavin Newsom is doing everything he possibly can right now to hold on to his viability
he's
for the
fucked
White
it
House.
up.
Yeah.
He to me, he's done.
No, he has no business being president.
And I think what with what I've seen, I think he's messed himself up.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah, I
can't
don't think the Democrats are touching.
because you have to be able. Like, if you want leadership, leadership comes out because Gavin Newsom's not a firefighter, so he's the one that needs to be out there with the PIOs. You're like, hey, these are the people. These are the ones that have the information. Let's get this fire out first, and then let's figure out what can we do about this in the future. But when you have for months and for years of reporting of, hey, if you defund the fire department, it's going to be a problem. Hey, if we don't have alternative service or sources for water when we don't have all the water in this reservoir, there might be a problem. Hey, if this is an issue, if we have all these fire trucks out and we don't have people to fix them, this might be a problem. If we don't have someone to hire because we're spending $350,000 on this person to talk for diversity and equity inclusion, DEI, all that happens from DEI is you die.
Oh shit!
You die.
I'm your new assistant.
No, that's exactly right. Oh, yeah, all this money they're spending on all this bullshit instead of their basic function.
They got
when the fire breaks out, you put the fire out,
and they make a video with Harambe as the fucking assistant.
You know,
chief.
that made the video. Let me get back to the video again. That makes no sense because, you know, unlike police, you know, Jason, with firemen, you don't really have a public relations problem. People don't hate firemen.
No, they love
me.
us.
You're the only fireman I like, you know. That the only why do they have to do people? I can see with police because of the interaction, the problems, and, you know, just the division of years.
Well, let's be honest, cops are dicks.
Well, they are, and, you know, and firemen there's only two professions that you get paid to lay on your back, and it's a fireman and a prostitute.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, I love it. Oh, I love it.
I've been waiting on that joke for
failure to stop episode, Fox News episode, if we didn't fuck with each other.
Nope. So where do they go from here? I'd like one, when it comes to voting, look at the people that are in charge right now and don't vote them back in.
No shit.
They have an amnesia. People, that's the problem with politics, is people forget too fucking soon.
That's what they do.
The amnesia is a problem in politics, man.
Yep.
So I don't know. They got a big problem. Here's where the other problem, you're gonna have to come back. There's a lot of those places that they were talking about that these houses are here and another house is never gonna be there ever again. And it's because you won't get permitting for it. You got to get EPA to come in and do an impact study to make sure that your concrete's not going to mess with some worms from the indigenous soil. And you got to make sure that it's equitable for the birds to take their shit in the morning. You're not going to get anything done. And if you do, it's going to take 11 months to fix a reservoir.
Right.
How you can't get the water to the
rebuilding for these people is almost completely out of the question when you look at all the regulations they have on the hoops they got to jump through. And then, I mean, these houses were there before, but they're gone now. They're gone. And there's giant corporations that want to come in and seize on that and take that.
Oh, that's misinformation, man.
I mean, just imagine, you know, these houses.
It never happened.
And some of them are not that big, but these houses are, you know, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And a lot of these people have outstanding mortgages.
It's scary looking at it. Yeah. Like it literally looks like a movie.
And they weren't able to insure it. And now they're, I mean, these people, so many of these people that we don't know are just financially, they're screwed.
Yeah.
They are
out of
there. And you know what? That mortgage payment is coming due. What's the date today?
Was it
12th?
Yeah. The 12th. That mortgage payment is coming due the 15th or the 30th of the month. Yep. And they got to pay it.
Well, people in North Carolina are paying taxes, property taxes.
Oh shit! Yeah,
that on property that doesn't exist anymore.
So yeah. So
I looked into it and I was like, there's no way this is, and it's true.
I heard it on Drinking Bros, and they were like, "Yeah, dude, they're calling, like they're literally emailing the people in Western North Carolina, hey, it's time for your property taxes." The house doesn't even fucking exist.
Oh my God, that's horrible. That's horrible.
So this is a state of our fucking world. So hopefully we get some things changed, and it'll take a little while, and you shift them. But
Well, when I was a kid, my grandfather told me, when a man shows you who he is, believe him. And
Good
the
point.
Democrats keep showing the residents of their cities, like Los Angeles, who they are, and they keep not believing them.
Yep. Yeah.
Over and
You know,
over
Dad,
and
to answer
over
your deal,
and
where do you go from here? Stop electing circus clowns as leaders to begin with.
Yes.
That's number one. Because it's really not fucking hard. If you prioritize and you really simplify it and get and quit all that dumb shit and get back to what your mission is. Simplify your mission and get back to it and say, this is what we're here to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like Pete Hegseth. You know, I watched his interview on Sean Ryan's show, and he and that's a big problem.
Great.
DEI
That's
shit
great.
is this DEI shit is big in the military. And his point is really what our point is. Military, they're war fighters. Get back to let them be war fighters and cut all the dumb shit out. So cut all the dumb shit out of government is number one. And get back to what your number one mission is. Your mission statement, whatever agency you are, whatever kind of agency you are in government, your mission statement should be about 2 sentences. And then fall back on that mission statement. And cut all that other dumb shit out.
No, you're absolutely
Take
right
there.
And it's just run with it, but fucking be true to what you were elected to do. Be true with it.
Yep.
Now the problem is we're never going to have that. Let's be honest, we're never going to have that.
We can get closer. We can get closer than that than we are.
And education. And I think,
I think that's what the American people are reaching for when they vote a guy like Donald Trump.
That's what they want. No, they showed what they want, Dan. You're right. They showed what they want.
Yeah.
But I also think through whether it's a small podcast like One More and I'm Out of Here.
One More and I'm Out of Here.
James
I love
McGee
that podcast.
Show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you educate people, you grab one. That one goes to 2, goes to 4, goes to 8. You know, you just got to.
I think this election showed the power of podcasting.
Yes. I mean, it transverses itself.
Yep.
But you have to have the balls to say it. I guess that's the biggest thing. You have to have the balls to say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Dead leg. Do you agree?
Good to have some hanging down things.
We have a lot of chiefs and not enough Indians.
Yes.
Yep.
Everybody wants to be in charge until it's time to be in charge.
Yeah.
Like the reason
we use firefighter terms. Everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you all. Go ahead, Dan. I'll tell you all a quick story to end things.
I have fought personally with the VA here locally for a long time, for many years. And when I was meeting with my congressional aide and the patient advocate the last time I met with them, and we were sitting there, and I said, "This is why directors get paid this money. There's a reason why the LAFD chief gets paid $500,000 a year. There's a reason why the mayor is paid that much money, because when shit does hit the fan, they are the ones that are responsible for it. Yes, you're going to have people on the street responding to this stuff. Yes, you're going to have first responders out there, but the people that are in charge making the decisions, the policymakers, the ones that are going to get up there on TV and take all the credit, they get all the blame when something fucks up.
Well, that's just it.
Fucked up big time.
This situation that we've been talking about the whole time, those people who are in positions of responsibility did not step up. They did not take responsibility. They did not say, here's what's going on. They're throwing each other under the bus because they all know they all fucked up. Because they all know that they had the wrong priorities. And they all know. They know it. They know it in their heart of hearts. When they lay down at bed at night and they go to sleep, they know that these ephemeral issues that they pushed out there as being important were not complete nonsense. And the issues that matter in people's lives are the ones that they did not address.
Because if you are a resident of Los Angeles, June 2nd, 2026 is the next election for your mayor, unless you decide to have a recall for this fun lady.
My God, there's no way she should survive this. There's no way in hell.
I hope she does it.
That fucking clown.
Karen Bass. There's no, and if she had a shred
I would
of
almost
dignity,
I would almost call her
if she had any shred of dignity, she would resign. And you know what? Her vice mayor is nowhere to be found because he's charged with calling in a bomb threat to the city hall.
Oh God,
that's the vice mayor. The vice mayor is the number 2 guy. He's nowhere to be found because he's under investigation himself. Look it up.
He's got it.
I'm telling you right now.
Fucking Deadleg's got it.
Yeah. No shit.
Deadleg don't fuck around.
I got the fastest Googling fingers in the West.
So I'll tell y'all my story real quick. So I already said that I had that 2020 Hurricane Laura kicked our ass, and we had some failures, and I told you I went and fixed it. But what motivated me to fix it is about 2 weeks into it, had a young deputy, female deputy who I was close to, like a daughter to me. I hadn't seen her. They were living. I was living in my office, and they were living, different places throughout the parish. And she walks in my office to check on me. She said, "How you doing?" She called me Pops. I said, "Pops, how you doing?" I said, "I'm not doing with this shit." I said, "This thing is kicking my ass." And she started laughing at me. I'm like, "What the fuck are you laughing at?" I said, I was kind of vulnerable. She said, "Hey, I'm going to talk to you like you talk to us. You chose to be here. You chose to sit in the swivel seat." She said, "When you sit in the swivel seat, when it's time to fucking swivel, fucking swivel." And that stuck with me. And that's when I said, you know what? When she left, I sat down, I started fucking writing, and I got in front of people and said, "Hey, we're failing. Let's fix this." And that's where the problem is. Everybody wants to fucking sit in the swivel seat until it's time to fucking swivel. Just like what you said, everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster shit.
Right.
That's where, like I said at the beginning, anybody can lead in good times. When you get punched in the fucking face, that's when you're going to show your character, what type of leader you fucking are.
Bingo.
Keith, what you guys got coming up next?
We're going Tuesday, I think at 5 p.m. Eastern. I was actually typing this.
Hit the like button.
But I'm going to send it. So our buddy, Cincy 513, who loves to hate us.
Is he in the chat tonight?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He is.
Really?
He is.
You can't be disagreeing with this stuff. There's no way.
So this fucking ass clown, he said, he's like, Trump got a felony on him. I said, well, at least he didn't hide.
Yeah, but everyone knows that trial's complete bullshit.
At least he didn't hide coke in the fucking White House and and cover up for that. So that's fine. Whatever.
Well, let me tell you,
Cincy, you're cute. You're adorable.
I'm gonna tell you what Cincy. Let me comment on Cincy. Let me tell you, I did a video on this week. I don't care what
James fucking hates Cincy. He fucking hates him.
Well, let me tell you what. I did a video on Jimmy Carter this week with his funeral. And I think Jimmy Carter, before Joe Biden, was the worst president in history.
No doubt.
But he was a good human being.
Yes. Good
He was
person.
a humanitarian. He's a good human being. So let me tell you this. Good human being.
But he was so pro-abortion. So
Yeah,
I don't give him a complete pass on that.
But good human beings do not make good fucking world leaders. You're in a gangster world. We need people like Donald Trump, who's a fucking gangster. That's why Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is a felon, good.
Well, Trump knows what's going on, and he knows a hell of a lot more about the swamp
awesome
now than he did the first time he was.
You know what would be awesome is if Donald Trump got a fucking teardrop tattoo on his fucking face.
Well, Dan, tell me if
that's how you know he's a gangster.
Yeah, Dan, tell me if I'm wrong on this. The whole fucking trial was a hoax because they wanted. That's all they got now. It's kind of like the movie Knocked Up with the dice roll dance. That's their fucking dice roll dance. If Donald Trump's a felon, that's all people like Cincy. That's all the fuck you can say, Cincy, is he's a felon. He's a felon over a fucking hoax, sham, fucking trial.
No doubt. 100%. Yeah,
I should have worn my shirt. I got the shirt that says I'm voting for the felon. I should have worn that tonight for you, Cincy. Love you.
Well, I like the James McGee show. That's a nice shirt. I wish I had one of those.
I'll tell you what, Dan, I'm gonna hold you to it now. You're coming on the show. Dad, you too.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Happy to do it.
It's a good way to dial it down. Fuck. We got a lot to fucking break down here the next time we do it. But there's here we are. The fucking California's fucking burning.
One more and I'm out of here.
Or one more.
Tuesday is 2 days away. No telling what the fuck's gonna happen in 2 days.
They ain't no shit.
Well, the only thing I've had a lot of people that I know that have been in the I'll just say the intelligence business have been telling me that something major could happen between now and the 20th when Trump is installed, when Trump gets in the inauguration. So
we'll see.
And they're all telling me they hope they're wrong, but the people who are talking to them are telling them that you got to keep your head on a swivel. You got to look out. I mean, you got to be situational awareness is key. These next
two things have already happened.
Yeah.
We've already had two.
I'm going to be Valley Friday, man.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Dead. Like you need to hear this too. So James is going to the inauguration.
Yeah.
Oh, I will be there.
So we may be doing
live report.
We're going to try to
absolutely do a live report. Yes.
We're going to try to figure out. He's not taking the shit, but we're going to try to figure out a way to.
I'm going to take my stuff, Jason. I'm going to take my computer, my microphone and stuff. I'm not going to do one of my shows, but I would love to do y'all show or any other show while I'm
live report.
Yes. So just keep that in mind, Deadleg.
Yep. I'll put it in.
If y'all want me on anything, I'll be there. I'll have my stuff with me. I'm just not going to try to produce one of my shows while I'm there, but I'd love to hop on anybody else's.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for that.
I guess it's the atmosphere is what I'm really looking at.
It's going to be like it's one of those times in history where I'd like to just not wake up every morning and have that be the most craziest day in history. I'm okay with looking in the past and going, yeah, those were some pretty crazy history days. I'd rather not have another half a city or have a major city burn down, or someone drive a truck down the down a New Year's parade, or someone have cryptic messages and send out emails to us podcasters and then blow himself up allegedly at Trump Tower. Like, can we just have Tuesday?
Can we all agree 2025 has gotten off to a rough start? No doubt.
Yes.
Yes.
It's going to get better, Dan. It's going to get better.
We can all agree on that.
Can we say it's got to get better?
Yeah.
Here,
let me give you a little piece of neat history.
12th day of January. It's got to get better.
I know. And we got 8 days to go. 8 days.
In 2018, when Trump was impeached, I was inside the Capitol when the vote came in. We had a meeting with our congressman, and we were waiting in his office while he was voting. It was Clay Higgins, who's the most Republican guy there. Clay Higgins is my congressman. So I can say that I was in the White House. I mean, I was in the Capitol when Trump they voted to impeach him.
How is it that did you have him prosecuted since then?
Yeah, and then now I'm going to be at the inauguration when he's back for his second term. So that's a pretty good fuck you.
Pretty good fuck you. I love it.
Wow.
Does he
Deadleg, I don't know how you want to roll this out, but
I don't know. I just think
Thanks,
it's cool if
guys.
he goes in and
I
swears
appreciate
in
being
and-
here tonight. It's been fun. It's
in
been
his,
great.
in his
I love it.
prison jumpsuit.
It's been a great show. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
James, it's always a pleasure.
One more and I'm out of here.
Love you.
I love y'all. I love hanging with y'all.
All right. We'll catch you guys in the next one from all of us. One more, Fox, James. See you guys later.
Thanks,
Well,
brother.